Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Greg Sloop, and it's time for Live at 5 on this Tuesday, the 29th of October, 2024. Hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late, but glad you're here and hope that God blesses you through what we're going to be looking at today. We are looking in Numbers chapter 16. We're still looking at famous or well known passages and scriptures in the Old Testament. And today we're at Numbers chapter 16, beginning with verse 1. This is the story of the rebellion against Moses and Aaron. Verse 1 of chapter 16 of Numbers starts like this. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, representatives of the congregation, men of renown. They gathered together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, "You take too much upon yourselves. You assume too much. For all the congregation is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourselves above the assembly of the Lord?" So when Moses heard it, he fell on his face, and he spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, "Tomorrow morning the Lord will show who is his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him, or he will set aside for his use only. That one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near to him. Do this. Take censers, Korah and all your company, put fire in them, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord chooses is the Holy One. You take too much upon yourselves, you sons of Levi." So Moses had begun to receive opposition and people questioning his authority and coming against him as if to say, "Hey, we're just as good as you are. Why do you get to talk to God?" Verse 8, then Moses said to Korah, "Hear now, you sons of Levi. It is a small thing to you that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to do the work of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to serve them. And that he has brought you near to himself, you and all your brethren, the sons of Levi with you. Is it a small thing?" he said. "And are you seeking the priesthood also? Therefore, you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron that you complain against him?" And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, "We will not come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you should keep acting like a prince over us? Moreover, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men also? Will we not? We will not come up." Then Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not respect their offering. Do not graciously regard it. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I hurt one of them." And Moses said to Korah, "Tomorrow you and all your company be present before the Lord, and you and they, as well as Aaron. Let each take his censer and put incense in it, and each of you bring his censer before the Lord, 250 censers, both you and Aaron, each with his censer." So every man took his censer, put fire in it, laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tabernacle of meeting with Moses and Aaron. So here it is, the showdown. Moses and Aaron at the tabernacle of meeting, all the 250 sons of Korah, part of the priesthood, part of the Levitical priesthood, or the Levites at least. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment." And then they fell on their faces. They prostrated themselves and said, "O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin and you be angry with all the congregation?" So the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the congregation, saying, get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." Then Moses rose and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, Depart now from the tents of these wicked men. Touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. So they got away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives, their sons, and their little children. Now, this showdown has taken a quick turn. As a matter of fact, God already spoke out and said, Moses and Aaron are my men. Separate yourself to me. We're not going to have this. This is not how this is going to go down. Verse 28, and Moses said, By this you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own will. If these men die naturally like all men, or if they are visited by the common fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord creates a new thing, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the pit, then you will understand that these men have rejected the Lord. Wow. We thought it was a showdown until now. Now God's calling them out. And now God's saying if they're not of God, the earth's gonna open up and swallow them alive. That's a real showdown. Verse 31, now it came to pass, as he finished speaking with all the words, that the ground split apart under them, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households and all the men with Korah with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into the pit. The earth closed over them, and they perished from among the assembly. Then all Israel who were around them fled at their cry, for they said, Lest the earth swallow us up also. And a fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. A fire came out from the Lord. Judgment. This showdown was over. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Tell Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, to pick up the censers out of the blaze, for they are holy, and scatter the fire some distance away. The censers of these men who sinned against their own souls or at the cost of their own lives, let them be made into hammered plates as a covering for the altar, because they presented them before the Lord. Therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign to the children of Israel. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers with those who were burned up, which those who had burned up had presented, and they were hammered out as a covering on the altar, to be a memorial or a reminder to the children of Israel that no outsider who is not a descendant of Aaron should come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he might not become like Korah and his companions, just as the Lord had said to him through Moses. Well, that's a long passage, but here's our story. Here's our moral today. God chooses leaders. He puts leaders in place, and he wants us to follow those leaders and respect those leaders, not because of them, but because of the God who placed them there. So therefore, when a leader is in place, don't oppose him or her. Don't try to come against them and cause them problems or pain or suffering, because God will not be mocked. If he chose a leader and put him in place, he will stand for them, and you'll find yourself opposing God himself. Now, if it's an ungodly leader and they need to be deposed, God will help you figure out a way to do it in the right way. But don't just oppose a pastor or a teacher or a leader if they happen to say something you don't like. If they're preaching the word of God, stand with them. Stand with them, support them, follow them, and trust that God's going to make sure that everything turns out well. And I know he will. And that's the word for today. Good to see Sharon Noblet, Gene Goodman, Franco Charles, Richard Britt, Mayo Diana Koga. There are a few others on here. LK, we're glad you're all here. Thank you for coming and being with us. It's our honor to present this each and every day, Sunday through Friday. And I'm thankful to have you listening today, and I hope it's been a blessing to you as well. Spend some time with God every day in the Word of God and prayer. It will help you find your way. It'll help you listen to God. It'll help you follow his leadership, and it'll help you be a better Christian. It will be the best thing you do all day. Please know we're praying for you, and we look forward to seeing each of you again tomorrow, live